All right, so today's topic is a very, very important topic we'll be discussing. Is a topic that I have previously said I was going to make. I've been extremely busy and I just haven't had time to come around to it, but now it has arrived, and so I pray that everybody who's watching and listening will be edified by this presentation. Now, the topic is whether God, or in Hebrew, should be understood in a singular sense or in a plural sense. And what I mean by that, when we look up this word God here, and God, as far as Exodus 3:14, it comes from the Hebrew word Elohim, or God is used for the Hebrew word Elohim from Strong's H430. Okay, so it is a masculine noun and it is the plural of Eloah. So let's just pause right there. Now, so Elohim is plural. Now, that could be on the surface. If I just stop right there and I didn't continue any further, I would mislead you. And that's why I'm making this video, to explain to you that although it is plural, there's more to it, okay? But the singular form of the noun is LOI, or L. So L, or LOI, is singular in and of itself, and the plural of LOI or L is Elohim. And what makes it plural is these two letters here in Hebrew, which are the yod and the meme, or a transliteration of it would be like a Y or M, and it gives like a eem sound, like a E-E-M-M. So it's Elohim. All right, now let's look at the definition of it. And by the way, this is on blueletterbible.org. I just like using their website. It's very comprehensive and I like the format. But this is taken from the Strong. So if you did not have internet access, you have a Strong's concordance. All this information would be here as well. All right. So the definition is Elohim, Elohim, the plural of H433, as we just stated earlier, gods in the ordinary sense. Now I'm going to pause right here. We'll come back to it. Let's go to Deuteronomy 29, verse 26. For they went and they served other gods, lowercase G-O-D-S, and worshiped them gods, lowercase G-O-D-S. Now let's look up this word G-O-D-S, lowercase, plural in English. And look, G-O-D-S comes from the same word Elohim, H430. Right here again, G-O-D-S comes from Elohim. Now let's pause right here. We'll come back to it. Let's go to Job 3:4. Let the day be darkness, let not God, capital G-O-D, regarded from above. Where does this word God come from? In this text, it says, let not God, comes from Eloah, the singular form of the noun, which is from H433, as you see on the screen. Now, this is the reason why I made this video, and the reason why I say this is very, very important, because how are the translators able to differentiate when to use capital G-O-D, as you can see in Job 3:4, and actually Job 3:04 is using the singular form, or in Exodus 3:14, where it says, and God, and we know this is from Elohim, the plural form. So you have a plural word, but you have a singular word in English. And then you have in Deuteronomy 29:26, lowercase G-O-D-S, but then it makes sense because you have a plural word Elohim. And by the way, in Hebrew, there's no upper and lower case in the language. So again, how are the translators, are they playing games? Is there a method to it? Is there a science to it? And let me show you, okay? This is I got from Wikipedia. I'm just going to read it real quick, and then I'm going to show you how they're able to arrive on differentiating. That's why I said, even though it is plural, let's not jump the gun yet and just run with a doctrine. All right. It says Elohim is a grammatically plural noun for gods, lowercase G-O-D-S, or deity in biblical Hebrew. In modern Hebrew, it is often referred to in the singular, despite the "im" ending that denotes the plural masculine nouns in Hebrew. In Hebrew, the ending "im" normally indicates a masculine plural, as we just said earlier. However, when referring to the Hebrew God, Elohim is usually understood to be grammatically singular. Now, this is the most important line in this paragraph and really in this video. So listen to this, i.e., it governs a singular verb or adjective. So basically saying is that although Elohim is plural, if it follows a singular verb and adjective, it should be understood to be singular. So it's no longer G-O-D-S, but now G-O-D. All right, and I'm going to show you a quick example of this. All right, so let's go back to Exodus 3:14. And I'm going to read it from the actual Hebrew text and show you the verbs and how it works, okay? So the very first word is actually the verb here, and it's Vayomer Elohim. And it's a phrase that you will see over and over in Genesis and really throughout the scriptures. And Vayomer is masculine, third person, singular. So this is a singular verb, and the yod makes it masculine. So it's literally, and he said, the power said, the Most High God, he said. So it is no longer a plural now. So when people, because what people try to say, and leaders, and what I see all the time, what makes me cringe is that they will say, well, this is referring to the Godhead. No, because the verb here can only be referring to one person, because it is a singular verb. It cannot be referred to more than one individual. Let's go along further. It says, so Vayomer Elohim El Moshe, which is the Most High said unto Moshe, Moses, yeah, Ashtri, yeah. Or in biblical or Paleo Hebrew, many people say this pronunciation will be Ahaya, Asha, Ahaya. Okay? But what it means is I will be who I will be, or here their translation is I am that I am, which is fine. Okay, ehya or ahaya is first person masculine singular. So this is the Most High speaking in the first person. So only one person is speaking. So like I said, I don't have a problem when someone say, here is my belief. But what people have done, and it's getting more popular and popular and popular because they're not aware of this, they say, well, Elohim is plural, Elohim is plural, so in order not to say there are more than one God, they will say this is referring to the Godhead. No, this is incorrect. It has to be done on a case-by-case basis. You cannot just make a blanket statement and apply it, as you can see here. All right, so you have the verbs here. First verb is done in the third person, and the next verb that is here is done in the first person. All right. So another thing, let me just mention this. Now, this is a general rule. Just like when I said the im is generally indicative of it being plural, this is general. Now, there are exceptions to this rule. There are cases where you may have a singular verb and Elohim being plural, and it will be understood the other way. So it's not a absolute. So I don't want to mislead you, whoever's watching, and thinking that, okay, this is a absolute, but this is generally speaking when you have a singular verb and adjective, basically how the context of the text is being used. That's how you know on whether we should use Elohim to be in a singular or in a plural sense, or if you just have Eloah or El, then we know that's definitely in a singular sense, or vice versa, a plural singular noun or plural verbs and adjectives. Okay, so I hope that's not confusing, but again, you can just rewind the tape and you can go back if I am confusing. Okay, so Biomer is third person masculine singular. So Vayomer Elohim El Moshe Ehye Ashri Ehye. Vayomer Kol Ta'ama Levani Israel Ehye. Okay? Ehye again, first person verb masculine singular. Shalachni Elechem. Okay? So in this translation they have, and God, this, even though we know it is from Elohim, but we know the verb here, said, is singular. So, and he said, God unto Moses, one person, I am that I am. And he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am. This is the verb, ehya or ahaya, has sent me unto you. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. And this is one reason why, again, I advocate it's not a requirement, or if you don't know Hebrew, doesn't mean that you're less off, but it is a benefit because when you know the language, you're able to discern better and you don't have to rely on a translation. You can go to the actual text and figure it out yourself. But many leaders and pastors and teachers know that their congregation does not know the language, and so therefore they're able to say things where people cannot refute and they just have to accept as face value. But I can tell you this, that it will be a helpful tool in parsing and discerning the text. And just that's just my opinion. Do you have to know it? No, but it will be helpful. All right, so let's go to Deuteronomy 29 verse 26 in the Hebrew text. And by the way, I'm just going to say this, even though this may seem rhetorical, but just many people are just not aware. The reason why we're going to the Hebrew text, because this is where the English is translated from. So when you go here, like, for example, for they went and serve other gods, we know that the scrolls were not in English. Even though many people are aware of that, they really don't understand that. So I kind of reiterate that over and over because, like, what some people say, well, I don't have to know Hebrew. What does Hebrew have to do with anything? Well, that's the language that it was written in. So that's the reason why we're going to the Hebrew text, the original source. All right. So just wanted to point that out. All right. So let's now look at the Hebrew verb here. Is the first verb is vaileku. Okay, that is also plural. Okay, vaya avadu Elohim acharim vayishtechahu lechem Elohim. All right, so the first verb is plural, second verb is plural, then we have the word Elohim. So that's why you find gods. Acharim is also plural. Okay, Vayishtachahu, which is I will, they bow down. Or here they have worship. They worship Acharim. They worship Lechem, them. Elohim, okay, plural. Ashri lo yadaum, plural. You see, so all these plural verbs that are being used now dictates how Elohim should be understood. This is not referring to the one and only El or God or power. This is referring to other gods. And so the translators want you to know that's why they use lowercase gods, even though in Hebrew there's no uppercase or lowercase, but they're just trying to show you so you can understand. All right. Now, halak is a verb too, but this is singular, lehem. But when you look at the total context, everything is plural. You see the context of how it's being used, and so it should be understood in a plural sense. So I hope that helps. And again, Elohim is a plural word, and more than likely, when you see the word God, is it really going to come from the plural form of God? But you have to look at the context of the sentence. Look at the verbs, look at the adjectives, and that's how you would know if it should be understood in a plural or in a singular sense. Shalom.